We're delighted you could be with us today. And David Mixner, will you please join me at the lectern? That's that hot sun. Maybe one day it will not be an act of courage simply to be the person you were born to be. Maybe it won't be considered brave to come out as gay to family, friends, and colleagues. Maybe they won't shun or disown you because of it. That day may be drawing closer, but we will still need people like David Mixner to trailblaze the way, make the headlines, and propel the change. This is what he has done for more than 4 decades, not only for LGBT rights, but also for peace, for racial equality, for the environment, for a living wage, and for other civil rights causes. While still a college student, David was organizing protests on behalf of Latino garbage collectors against apartheid rule in South Africa and against the war in Vietnam. He has been jailed more than a dozen times for civil disobedience. Most famously when he chained himself to the White House fence to protest his friend Bill Clinton's "don't ask, don't tell" policy for gays in the military. His advocacy work has run in tandem with a fabulously successful career as a political fundraiser and strategist, and more recently as a memorist, author, and playwright. He has raised more than $60 million for campaigns and charities and has advised mayors, governors, presidents, and heads of state. He's written 2 memoirs, including the best-selling Stranger Among Friends, which shared the emotional and professional impact of his coming out at age 30. He starred in 2 acclaimed autobiographical one-man shows, most recently, Oh Hell No, which he is performing around the country to raise scholarships for LGBT youth. He also has produced a documentary about the impact of AIDS in the African American community and co-written both a screenplay and a stage play set during World War II. Perhaps most importantly, he has been a role model as a man who stands up for his principles and uses talents to their fullest. He has given countless young people hope and encouragement to reject closeted lives of secrecy, worry, and fear, and to instead build lives based on honesty, equality, and goodwill. If you want a living example of the bumper sticker of wisdom, quote, "Be the change you wish to see in the world," look no further than today's honoree. David Mixner, for your contributions to justice and equality, for your talents as a storyteller, your ability to inspire, and your concern for the youth and future of America, it is my pleasure to bestow upon you the honorary degree, Doctor of Public Service. Now, there we are. By the virtue of the authority vested in me by the visitors and governors at Washington College and by the state of Maryland, I confer upon you the honorary degree, Doctor of Public Service, with all the rights and privileges and responsibilities pertaining thereto. There you go. So it is now my great privilege to invite our most recent alumnus to address the graduates. Dr. Mixner, it's all yours.
Thank you. Hot damn. I look good, don't I? You all look good too, I say, as graduates. You look very well dressed. I must say I got a memo before I came down here about May Day. And I wish you'd have told me it wasn't today because it's a little breezy under this robe. Mr. President, President-elect, Board of Trustees, Provost, faculty, my God, you students, graduates. It is an honor to be the first openly LGBT person to stand in this spot. Reverend, I've got to say it was one of the most beautiful prayers I've ever heard, and the Lord's about to answer one of your requests. It will be brief. It is indeed an honor. But coming to this moment, I stand before you as a man who at 69 years of age is on the verge of, at last in his life, of achieving the American dream. The journey to here was not an easy one. Your president talked about my jail record. Some would say my love for handcuffs. Use your imagination. After all, you're graduating. What he didn't tell you was when I went to the jail with Dr. Martin Luther King in Albany, Georgia, I was about your age. We were there to get the right of people to vote, believe it or not, in this country. And I love to sing freedom songs. And I'd sing them loudly, but no one told me I had no voice. So we were in jail, and we were singing loudly to get courage, to do the right thing, and to get us through our fear. And Dr. King said, David. He said, would you mind not singing? And I said, well, Dr. King, I said, I love to sing. He said, well, maybe you could just hum. So there's always a solution. Getting here was not an easy one. When I was your age, exactly, 4,000 LGBT people in this country had forced lobotomies in an effort to cure them. When I came out to my father and parents, they forbid me to come home for 3 years. And my father said that the family would be better off if I was dead instead of the shame that I had brought to our family. I was afraid. And we all can be afraid. All through your life, you're going to have issues to deal with. Maybe not enough money, maybe addiction, maybe too tall, too thin, too fat. But issues that are just simply those that life challenges us with. And it's okay to be afraid. But it's not okay to live in fear. Because there's a difference. Afraid is just damn common sense. I'm afraid being up here. Fear is simply an excuse for inaction. Just simply an excuse for inaction. I can't go there because. And we come up with rationales and reasons. I've been beaten 3 times. I've been in jail. I've had the honor of meeting some of the greats. I have seen great men make fools of themselves and fools become great men. But what I have seen is that those who create change walk through fear. And when you walk through fear, I promise you there will be a river filled with love and beauty and joy for you. Though, oh my God, it will seem to be one of bloody, harsh rocks before you get to the other side. I remember there was a poet in Latin America who won the Nobel Prize. And I was afraid of heights, fearful. And he had a summer home with a deep cliff that went into the Pacific Ocean. Now, I didn't get near that damn cliff. You know, it's the kind of cliffs you see in movies and the cars tumble down and they explode. Well, he was a very wise man, and just him and I were there that summer at his summer home. And it was the most beautiful sunset that I have ever seen in my life. Now, ironically, that sunset was beautiful because some nation had just done open-air nuclear testing and the sky was filled with radiation. The irony, huh? So he had not been well, and he said, David, I got to get up. So like many of you do for me now, I helped him up. And he took my hand, and without saying a word, started walking towards that cliff. Now, I wet myself. I was so scared and so afraid. But he knew that youthful arrogance would trump fear. So he took me to that cliff, and I swear to God, the sand was coming down off my feet. It was so close. And he said this to me, and I say this to you. This is where you belong, on the edge. Because by the law of physics, no one can stand in front of you. See, I know physics too. And all of the people behind you will have to depend on you to describe the colors of the sunset that only you can see. And he said, and that's your choice in life. You can stay behind in fear on that porch and have others describe the colors of the sunset, or you can walk through your fears and be the leader who describes it to others. So today, after years where I lost 300 friends to AIDS, lost my partner of 12 years to AIDS, gave 90 eulogies in 2 years, I speak to you, but not only with their voice who no longer are present to be heard, but with the voice of a mighty, dignified, proud LGBT community. It is my words that come to you. So today I stand before you. When I was young, I did not think I could participate in the American dream. It was against the law for me to adopt children. It was against the law for me to get married. It was against the law for me to run for office. It was against the law for me to go into most public accommodations with the person I love. It was against the law if I had children, they would take them away from us. And today, with the man most important in my life, Stephen Guy, I stand before you on the verge of freedom. And I can't tell you at 69 how great it is to breathe the air of freedom. So I say to you, go get them. Change the world. Quite honestly, by the time climate change happens and the water are lapping at your asses, I'm going to be long gone. So you better do something about it. But I can stay here looking good and stand before you on behalf of my community and say, my name is David Mixner. I'm a gay man, and at last, I am free. Thank you very, very much.